So we got a little update as we get closer to the trade deadline, 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Hey, I'm Steve Dangle. This is the Sportsnet YouTube channel. First and foremost, we got an all-Canadian trade. The Montreal Canadiens trading Brett Kulak to the Edmonton Oilers in exchange for William Lagesson and a second-round pick. A good trade is one where both teams get what they want, and I think both teams do here. William Lagesson was having a bit of a struggle season with the Edmonton Oilers, sometimes being in the minors, getting put on waivers, stuff like that. He seemed to be hitting a new gear with Jay Woodcroft behind the bench, though. And who knows, maybe that extra ice time helped him get this opportunity where he will now probably play some games for the Montreal Canadiens. In the deal, the Oilers get an older player in Brett Kulak, 28 versus 26, and he's a player who has some pretty recent NHL experience. He was on the Montreal Canadiens heading into the Stanley Cup final last year. The Oilers can move the puck. The Oilers can score. Kulak can defend. That's what the Oilers need. Anything that makes the Edmonton Oilers a harder team to score on and a less pleasant team to play against helps them. The Montreal Canadiens, will William Lagesson work out? Will he not? I'm sure they hope so, but ultimately what they get out of this is a second-round pick. That is the name of the game for the Montreal Canadiens. They got a couple first-round picks this year, a couple first-round picks next year, 3/3 this year, 3/4 next year. Yeah, they want some draft picks, and a second-round pick will do them quite nicely. Second, a couple moves that'll make producer Drew a very happy boy because he's a Colorado Avalanche fan. Montreal Canadiens not done at trading Brett Kulak. They also trade Artturi Lehkonen to the Avalanche. This acquisition was not cheap. In exchange for Artturi Lehkonen, the Montreal Canadiens get a second-round pick. There's another one in 2024. Plus, they get defensive prospect Justin Barron. He's a defensive prospect. Teams aren't willing to give those up. He's a right-handed defensive prospect. Teams aren't willing to give those up. He's a dude who was picked in the first round just a couple of years ago. Teams are not willing to give those up. Colorado is going for it. That's good for them, but it's even better for the Montreal Canadiens for the purposes of this trade. Lehkonen, meanwhile, is a versatile winger who can play the right and left, who's going to be joining an extraordinarily gifted team up front in the Colorado Avalanche. Artturi Lehkonen has 29 points in 58 games with a team that up until recently could not score this season, and that would put Lehkonen on his best pace of his entire career. 33 games of playoff experience in Lehkonen's career, and 27 of those games have come in the last 2 years. He can skate like the wind. That's going to be a great fit for the Avs. Now, Artturi Lehkonen's contract is up at the end of this season, but part of the reason I think the price was so steep for Lehkonen is he's an RFA at the end of this season. So, should Colorado want to, they could pursue keeping him. That would definitely up the value. And speaking of wingers who can skate like the wind, the San Jose Sharks trade Andrew Cogliano to the Colorado Avalanche for just a fifth-round pick. Just a fifth-round pick. And it's next year. No, not next year. 3 drafts from now. 2024. I have to keep adjusting my brain. Another really minor deal coming through. I'm trying to wrap this video up, but it's not working. The Hamburglar moves on again. The Montreal Canadiens, who just recently acquired Andrew Hammond, sending him to the New Jersey Devils in exchange for forward Nate Schnarr, who, if I remember correct, was part of the Taylor Hall trade. Like the Devils Coyotes Taylor Hall trade. Yeah, I know, it feels like forever ago, doesn't it? We got the New York Rangers continuing to heat up. They get right-handed defender Justin Braun from the Philadelphia Flyers for a third-round pick. But not going to talk about that too much because Elliot Friedman tweeting that the Rangers might be up to more. Quick deal between the Sens and Bruins. Josh Brown going to the Bruins along with a 7th-round pick. He'll be a good fit there. He's a mean defenseman. And going to the Ottawa Senators, a 5th-round pick, and former first-rounder Zach Senyshyn. You might remember him from the 2015 draft when the Bruins had 3 consecutive first-round picks, and then the next one was Matt Barzal. Senyshyn, don't sleep on him. He's an Ottawa boy, and he's having a good time in the AHL production-wise. I wouldn't be shocked to see him play with some decent NHL players up front with a good opportunity. I wouldn't be shocked to see him produce at all. Creeping in on the deadline here, so I'm going to wrap this up. That is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell your friends. It's 3. It's 3. Look at your phone.